What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Sharpen the Public. As always, I'm your host, Deej, back again with my co-host, Andy. I don't know why you're laughing at me. What's going on?
Hello, everyone. DJ and I spent the last weekend together, and multiple times in the car ride over there, we were like, "What's going on, everybody?" to each other. So that's why I was laughing.
It's one of those things where it just picks up. I did that the first time, and I mean, I just
It's your
don't
thing,
do
dude.
anything. I don't do anything different, so I don't know what to tell you.
It works. No, it works. It works.
How am I doing? That's a great question.
After we picked on you for it, now I'm always gonna giggle a little bit.
But yeah, no. How am I doing is a phenomenal question because as we sit here Thursday night watching the Packers get demolished by the Lions, I'm just upset, Andy. I had the under, and I think the refs kind of fucked us here.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that. However, after such a huge first half for the Lions, we were bound to be screwed over. I mean, that entire first quarter was an onslaught by them, and then they just piled it on as the half came to a close. I'm just happy that I had Jahmyr Gibbs over carries, and it, my God, barely cashed.
Yeah,
I mean, they keep saying they're going to get Gibbs involved in the offense, and it's like, okay, when's it going to happen? Because you said it was going to happen last week. You said it was going to happen this week, and it still hasn't happened. He had 8. I think he finished with 8 carries, maybe 9. I know he at least got 8 because I was able to tweet out that I went 1-1 for minus a tenth of a unit. So
hey,
sorry
that's okay.
For losing you guys a tenth of whatever your unit is. Hopefully not.
It's okay. Much. That's fine. It's a good start to your week. I mean, I'm down a unit, but that's fine. After a couple weeks where we do have some profit, I'm not really too upset about it. And it's sports betting. You can't always blame the rest. It is what it is. But as always, we are back again to talk about the public betting trends and talk about every game in this upcoming NFL Week 4. It's a really exciting week this week. I think after last week, we had the 70-point Broncos destruction loss, and then we had the Cardinals go out and beat the Cowboys. So it's going to be tough to beat last week, but we are starting off our Sunday at 9:30 a.m. thanks to a London game, and it's going to be in the Toy Story AI world, which is going to be I don't know what to expect, but I mean, maybe the kids will be betting on this one.
Yeah, just don't tell the government. Just don't tell the government.
I mean, there's plenty
a great start already in this podcast. We're making fun of your intro, and we're talking about kids gambling. Jesus Christ.
There's plenty of offshore books where they could get it done, but that's not gambling advice. But as always, let's run through the previous public betting trends and then update everyone on what it's going on for the entire year. So last week, Andy, the public went 10-6. Pretty impressive. I mean, after they've had a pretty good start to the year, I'll get to it at the end, but they're 25-22-1 ATS through week 3, which is actually pretty impressive in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not bad for an ATS through 3 weeks, especially knowing that typically the public historically is going to get murked on week 1 of the NFL season. Didn't really happen as much as we expected this year, and so far through the first few games now, they're winning money.
They are, yeah.
I'm down. I'm down a unit.
That's okay. 1 unit is nothing. There's so many more games to bet. But yeah, so 10-6 from the public this week, week 3. That is, money percentage went also 10-6, and that's also what we expected based on a couple bad weeks from the money. We expected them to bounce back, so that's good to see. Sharp differential went 7-9 ATS. Obviously, I went over these all in my recap episode, but figure it's always good to refresh everyone's brains. Public on the over back to normal went 4-7. Public on the under also back to normal went 4-0. Money on the over went 3-4. Sharp differential on the over went 2-2. Money percentage on the under 7-2, and then sharp percentage on the under 9-3. So a little bit more back to our waves. Go ahead.
Can you say those slow so I can just write them down really quickly?
Money percentage on the
money on the over 0-4.
3-4.
3-4.
Sharp on the over 2-2. Money percentage on the under 7-2.
7-2, and then sharp under
9-3.
I'm good.
Yeah, so basically back to our ways, I would say. I mean, we had a much more normal total week, seeing the over go 4-11 or 5-11 or something like that. So, I mean, that's why you see that impressive money percentage on the under and sharp differential on the under. So that's good to see. But before I update you guys on the aggregate, Andy, do you see anything there? I mean, I think it's just kind of more back to normal for what we'd expect.
Yeah, the money and sharp when it comes to unders are absolutely killing it, but that's something that we've known and talked about since the beginning of last year. Maybe not to this proportion that we're seeing from how they did in week 3. Congrats to them, that's awesome. But unders as a whole really did well, and I'm just hoping that that doesn't mean that the overs are going to have a huge week again like they did a couple weeks ago. And it's going to,
Yeah.
I would hate to see huge swings back and forth.
Yeah.
With
100%.
totals. That would be really alarming. I don't think it's going to be that way. That would be a shock to all involved. But just something to be cautioned about.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't want to see that either, especially after seeing it 1, 2, 3 weeks, maybe. I mean, the over did happen in this Thursday night Lions game, and I don't know. I had a weird feeling about this one, and I tweeted that out even when I took the under. Like, it just felt like this was the game that was the night under divisional game that is going to go over, despite all of the trends and everything saying that it's going to go under. So it is what it is, but we'll see what happens for the rest of the week. I think there's a bunch of good unders on this slate, and you're still going to see a lot of money that way anyway. But rolling through here, we got public on, or just public, as I said, 25-22 and 1 ATS. Money is 23-24 and 1 ATS. Drop differential 22-25 and 1 ATS. So really, like, the public is beating both the money and the sharps, which is it's just interesting. So I would expect we're going to get some regression as we move through the year here.
Is there anything noticeable trend wise that we're able to establish now that we're 3 weeks in, or is it still too early to tell? As well as, like, is there anything that we should be looking at from our trends that we were able to establish last year that we maybe walk away from or double down
on? So we do see the golden rule did go 2-1 last week, so I think that's a bit of a uptick. But the Geico trend did drop to something that, it's not doing too well either. So I think it's too early to say still, but hopefully, I mean, we did see a good golden rule week, so I think we're kind of looking forward towards that. But I think otherwise it's too early to tell.
Got it. Okay. No, that's good to know. And I think it did take us a little bit longer than 3 weeks last year to establish some trends like this. And it's often that you will see even some professional gamblers kind of struggle in these first opening weeks before they really figure things out and figure what's going to happen. So I wouldn't be too alarmed that some of the trends that we really relied on heavily last year are not doing as hot so far, because still a lot of season left, but also once things begin to figure themselves out and the sharps begin to figure out their strategies, we'll see that in the data that we are analyzing on this podcast week in and week out. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. But
yeah, I think that's
affirmed what I was seeing from my bets not hitting as often, relying on these trends.
No, I think you're pretty much right on the nail there. I mean, this has been a weird year to start the NFL. I mean, we saw the Lions beat the Chiefs in game 1, so like there's a lot of crazy things happening, and again, 70 points, and then the Cardinals beating the Cowboys. So I think there's a lot of learning to do in this beginning of this year for sharp bettors and for the public too. The public's going to think they're doing so well, doing 25-22 and 1, and then they're going to get railed later on the year. So just stuff we have to keep our heads around, our heads wrapped around, because it's a long season. We're on week 4 of 18. It's going to be fun. Let's get through these so we can get to the games, though. Public on the over, 13-15 to date. Public on the under, 11-8. Money on the over, 9-8. Money on the under, 18-13. Sharp differential on the over, 7-4. That's a good sign. And then sharp differential on the under, 21-15. So you're seeing, I mean, massive amounts of money in sharp differential towards the over a lot, or towards the under a lot more than the over. But it's good to see that when it is on the over, you are seeing a positive trend at 7-4. So hopefully we continue to see that throughout the year. But that's kind of all I have for the trends before we get into the games.
Yeah, sharps on totals seems like it's cash so far. So we'll see if that continues. If it continues to be net positive in the profit column both ways, right? If it's profitable on the over and under, like we're seeing right now, TBD. I feel like it will stay that way on the under, but I have doubts about it staying that way on the over.
We'll see. It depends on the year.
Yep.
But as we preluded, our first game on this slate is in London. The Jaguars are playing at home in Wembley Stadium against the Falcons. The Falcons opened up at 4.5 dogs and then moved to 3-point dogs. 66% of the bets on the Jags and 78% of the money on the Jags as we sit here Thursday night with around 30,000 bets on this game. This is an interesting one because, I mean, it's the Jags' second home field, right? I mean, 3 points after a bad loss to a division rival. I feel like I just want to back them. I mean, the Falcons also didn't look great last week, but this game is going to be absolutely fun to watch, especially if you watch that in that Toy Story world that it's going to be in.
Yeah, I think it's a 2 TV game because you can watch the Toy Story on one and then you can watch the real stream on the other. If I take the Jags here, DJ, it'll be my 4th time this season fading the Falcons because I did it week 1, week 2, and week 3.
Oh my!
And how's it so far? Really want to do it. I'm 1-2. My first win was last week, so I'm tempted. But I would say I do lean Jags here, but I haven't put money on them yet. Truthfully, I want to see how things shake out. We've already got 32,000 bets on this game as we sit here recording Thursday evening, almost Friday morning, and I really do think that the Jaguars show up a bit and put on what people have thought they were going to do. But there's also the other side of me that has seen the product on the field and it doesn't look anything like it did last season. So I'm not going to have the answer to what the Jaguars are before I place my bet. If I do, well, it's a London game. I'm going to have money on it, whether it's personal or official. Let's be honest here. I just don't at this point in time. I can only really lean Jaguars. I don't have the confidence to put money on them just yet. I want to see how the trends develop here, and I want to how like the public and money percentages develop here, and I want to see if there's any more news that comes out before the games. So we have all the information that we're armed with right before kickoff.
Yeah, I'm a little underprepared for this episode. I wish it's been a weird week for me, but normally I'd come with a lot more London trends and some things to look forward to because, I mean, I see the total opened at 45.5. It dropped to 43. You see a large sharp differential there on the under, but obviously people are going to want to bet the over in the morning game. They want to wake up and see points. So, I mean, it's normal to see that 63% of the bets on the over there. So right now, I mean, the under looks like a really good play. But I don't know if that's common. I mean, 43 could be high for London. I don't remember. So look out for that as we move towards Sunday morning because it won't be in my article. But like Andy, I'll probably want to play something on this because who doesn't want to wake up and start watching football that they bet on?
What do you think gets more viewership in England on Sunday? Nottingham Forest at Brentford at 9 a.m. or Falcons versus Jaguars at 9:30 a.m.
I have no idea.
I think it might be the NFL game because there's they front loaded the Premier League where there's 8 games on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, and 1 on Monday.
That's funny.
That could be purposeful because of the NFL being there, but I think it might be NFL. Brentford is absolutely dreadful this season so far. So, but anywho, I digress. Let's go on to the next one.
Let's talk about the EPL. On to the second best game of the slate, Andy. We got the Broncos versus the Bears. Broncos head in.
Next game.
I don't think anyone wants to cover this game.
You know what the worst part is? The worst part is that we have to watch this game Sunday after, so we're gonna wake up, have our coffee, watch the London game, then we have our 1:00 slate. And my God, we're going to have to see even if you don't put it on your TV, you're gonna see it on Red Zone. You're gonna see this game, and then you're like, "Oh shit, I've had enough of this."
Commanders on Thursday.
Yes, I didn't know that was the Thursday game. Oh my God, when I saw that ad, I was like, "You got to be kidding me! You have to be kidding! Flex it, literally flex it." Move it.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Can't flex a Thursday game, but still, I wish they could.
This is gonna be rough for the Bears in the next couple of days. Their media outlets gotta do something. I mean, all right. So the Broncos moved from -1.5 point favorites to -3. I mean, it's in Chicago, but the bets, 74% of the bets on the Broncos, 70% of the money. I mean, I can't even believe there's a sharp side to this game. The Broncos just went out and let 70 points up to the Dolphins, which is to be expected from that high potent offense. And then the Bears just look absolutely dreadful. I mean, how do you go out as a home team to a team that just lost a set by 70 points and you're a dog?
Yeah. Yeah. I had 2 plays for this in my early best bets. I've
You have
got
2
the
plays
under.
in this game?
I do. And I lean Broncos too, which is the most shocking development of all time. I don't need to go into it too much because I wrote up all about it at happyhoursports.net, and you can find it on my Twitter at AndyHH Sports. I do have the under here at under 46. You can find it at 46.5 at some outlets. And I also have Jerry Jeudy over 52. I know it's 53.5 yards, receiving yards. And that probably has pushed up. I saw that it was at 55 in some places now. What I like about that matchup, and I'll talk about it really quick, is that the Bears defense cannot defend the path, like the air whatsoever. And the only thing that's been good about the Broncos offense so far this season is that they have a top 10 yards per game passing offense so far, which is shocking because when you watch the product on the field, you're like, wow, Russell Wilson looks like shit. But I think it's a lot of playing from behind that skews that a little bit. And they're going up against one of the worst defenses in the league in the Bears. You can see it in my article too. Like you would think with 2 shit defenses, right? Let's take the over. The Bears offense is so centered around run, and the Broncos defense had, I think they were only allowing 70 or 80 rush yards per game before the Dolphins game. So in the first 2 games, they're averaging around 70 or 80 rush yards a game. I just don't think that the Bears offense has what it takes to go up against this Broncos rush defense. And we know that Fields is not going to be slinging the rock like a madman. Both these teams are going to be shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, the Broncos are averaging over 8 penalties a game. There's so many reasons to take the under here, but I list them all out in my article. Be sure to check that out. I don't want to go on a huge tangent about this game when I have plenty of it in text on the website. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think the Broncos come out and win here. Just simply, I think there's too many things going wrong for the Bears right now. I think the only thing good about the Broncos is their offense. I do think they have a little bit of that, that Rush Sean Payton type of connection that whatever is happening is happening. I think their defense is just trash, but now they're going to go up against a Bears offense that really isn't anything to be scared of. So I would have to lean Broncos here. It's a really ugly game, and I feel like, I mean, it's one of the least bet games on the slate, and people, despite it being a hilarious game to bet on, people are still like, no, I don't want to touch this. Even the total, no one knows what to bet. The spread, no one knows what to bet. We'll see what it looks like on Sunday, but I would have to just lean Broncos. I don't have anything on the total. I have no idea. This could be 50-50, or it could be 3-4, and I have no idea. Can you not hear me? Can you hear me?
Now
Hello?
I can. My AirPods keep going in and out. I think it's not the battery on them. It's just like connection. I don't know what's going on.
Would you hear me last
Did you ask me a question?
No. I just said I wanted you to be like, yeah, that's fine.
They went out a minute ago, but I knew you were giving your analysis, so I was like, I wasn't going to say anything.
I ended it saying this game could either, I don't have anything on the total. This could either be 50-50 or 4-3.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 24-20 Broncos, and the Broncos cover and the under hits.
Okay, right on the line. Vegas usually does get it right like that, so I don't hate it.
Hang on, they just cut out again. Let me get actually cordless headphones or corded headphones. Okay. 2 seconds. All right, say something.
Hello?
Yep, that's good. Can you still hear me? All right.
Yep.
Okay, cool. My mic is still the CAD. That was so weird. These AirPods have never done that to me. That's interesting. All right, I'm ready for the next game if you are.
Yep. Next game on the slate is AFC North divisional matchup. Excited for this one. +3 are the Ravens going into Cleveland with 48% of the bets and 68% of the money. A 20% sharp differential toward the Ravens. When it initially started, when it was Browns -1, Andy, I liked it. I like for the Browns, but I mean at 3 points, there's a lot of data backing Lamar and Harbaugh away, like AFC North divisional games. I love the Ravens now. I think the Ravens are on a come up. I think there's a lot of press and talk about how good the Browns defense is, and which it is very good. So another reason I like the under. But I think there's a lot of history between these two teams, and Harbaugh finds a way to get it done in Cleveland because it's the AFC North. Like these teams always play each other so well, so close.
Yes. The Browns defense ranks in first or second in so many categories defensively. However, the Ravens will be by far the best rushing offense that the Browns have seen so far this season, where the Browns' 3 opponents that they faced so far all ranked in the bottom 10 or bottom 11 in the league in rush yards per attempt, as well as rushing yards per game. Whereas the Ravens ranked top 5 and top 10 in both those categories, respectively. I touch on it a lot in my article, but the Ravens are in my teaser of the week in my article, where I tease them up from +3 to +9. When I tweeted it out on Monday, I got the Ravens at +8. So my actual action is on +8. I feel pretty comfortable, like +8, +9, whatever. I think that it's going to be, I don't think that that's going to actually matter. I think it's going to fall within less than a touchdown. And to be honest with you, DJ, when it comes time for game day, I'm actually take Ravens money line. I don't think that they're going to blow out the Browns by any means. I think this is going to be a really low scoring affair where I do lean Ravens as well as do lean the under. Now, 76% of the bets are on the under as we sit here tonight. I want to see how some more of that stuff develops. Is this such a low total that they're playing tricks on us? Maybe. I do think it's going to be a really low scoring game, but that the Ravens will find a way to squeak one out because the Browns offense is what's going to shoot them in the foot.
Yeah, this could be one of the ones where it's like 20-14 going into the a last minute drive by Lamar and they win 21-20, and they score 41 points and the over happens. So like this could be very close to the total. I'm with you. I might be on money line as well, but Ravens +3 looks pretty juicy as we speak with a 20% sharp differential. So hopefully it stays like that. We are seeing a nice little uptick as we talked about in the beginning towards the golden rule. So who's to say it can't happen again? Moving on, we got Bengals at Titans. Bengals -2.5, 69% of the bets, but 70% of the money on the Titans. This is interesting. I'm not surprised that the public's on the Bengals at -2.5 here. I think the line's low, which is why probably a lot of the public thinks, back Joey Burrow after their win against the Rams. But 70% of money on the Titans as 2.5 home dogs. We talked about it last week. Vrabel is a phenomenal underdog coach, and it bit a lot of bettors in the butt last week because they were underdogs and they got murdered by the Browns. So I don't know. I think Joe Burrow looked great in the second half despite not being able to move much, and the Bengals offense really clicked. Mixon finally was released, and then they decided to actually get the ball to Jamar Chase, and they looked great. The Bengals defense, on the other hand, not so great. I mean, there was times where Stafford and Tutu Atwell, managed to find seams, but I think the Titans defensive line here could take advantage of the Bengals offensive line too. So I see why a lot of sharps here on the Titans, but it'd be tough to not back, 3 points for Joe Burrow here.
Yeah, I see arguments on both sides where I've kind of gone back and forth on this one, but don't have a play. I would love to take the under on this one. I'm not going to actually lock it in, but I do lean it. I know
98% of the money
last week. yeah, on 28,000 bets, insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know, man. This one's tough because you like you said, you have the Vrabel narrative about him being a dog, but the same time, what Joe Burrow are we going to get?
Yeah.
That's what kind of scares me away from Bengals games right now, and Titans games for that matter. Both these teams are huge question marks, and they both have a lot to prove. I have nothing on this one, to be honest with you. That's as much as I can really give here, because there's so many unknowns with both these teams. I think this should tell us a good bit about one or the other.
Yeah, I think it's at that point right now where Bengals only is -2.5 favorites. And they come off a win where people didn't really expect them to get to win, is why so much public is backing them. But the Titans aren't a bad team. They're just a team that, they couldn't get anything undone, couldn't get anything done on offense to the Browns last week. This is a team that covers well at home as dogs. So it makes sense why they're the sharp side, I think. So if we see this massive differential here, you'd have to go Titans, but I'm with you. I think there's a lot of unknowns.
My final thing here is I'm resisting the urge so much to tease the Titans, because tease them up to 8.5 with a total 41. That's so juicy. That is classic Wong criteria, but there is a world where the Bengals finally wake up and they torch this team, because I touched on it in my preview of the AFC South. This Titans team is shit. They are really, really bad. That defense is not very good. And I don't understand why some people were still high on this team. Like, it's not going to fly. And to be honest, if this keeps happening, Tannehill's days are numbered. And then it becomes even more of a shit show, because they have to figure out the quarterback situation, right? So
bring him in.
I'm most likely not going to tease this. And on top, there you go. And on top of that, the Sharpen the Public teaser is 0-2 to start the season. So I'm not gonna sit here and throw something in there when I don't fully believe in it. So I got nothing here. I'm ready for this next game, which is the polar opposite, and it's Dolphins visiting the Bills with a total that is 12.5 points higher than the one we just covered at 53.5, 54 in some markets, depending on where you're betting. And the spread has moved to Bills -3. It was sitting at 2.5 for a bit. I think it's kind of teetering back and forth between 2.5 and 3. Deej, let me just say, I wish I got in when the Dolphins were at 3.5. That's a wild spread for this type of game with how high powered that offense is. I think it's pretty hard to go in and play in Buffalo. And if I had a 3.5 spread, I'd be looking at what that money line is. That money line is probably like a +165, +170 or something like that. So, but when it's at +3, I think this is the right number. You're giving the home team the edge that the book typically gives a home team. And that's that. Just set it where it is and see where the bodies lie. And as it sits right now, there's just short of 50,000 bets, and we've got a 28% sharp edge, 53% of the bets and 81% of the money on the Bills at -3. Do you agree with this after the Miami Dolphins just dropped 70 and should have broken the record if McDaniel was not so kind-hearted and took a knee?
I do believe in this. I love the Bills here, and I love the under, because 53 is a fuck ton of points in this day's NFL. You're seeing 76% of the bets on the over. We know from last year that when the public bets 75% or higher, 2-9 towards the over. So that's a great sign. 14% sharp differential, even with that high bet percentage on the over towards the under. So I just want to get that out of the way. Like, this is such a contrarian thing to be like, oh my God, the Dolphins just scored 70. They're going to go out. This is the Bills versus the Dolphins. This is going to be incredible. This is an AFC East divisional matchup. This is going to be gritty, played on the ground, chess match type football. And we're in Buffalo, so we're not, Josh Allen, I don't know. We're in Buffalo. We're not in Miami again. You're not going to have the issue last year that you had when the Bills couldn't stay on the field because they were getting too hot and everything. I also like the Bills here because I think their defense is the best defense the Dolphins will have played this year. I think the Broncos showed nothing. And there's a stat out there. I don't know what exactly it is. I think teams coming off a win of like scoring 60 points or more or something are like 1-6 ATS, or doing something, whatever the Dolphins just did, are terrible ATS in the next game. So it makes a lot of sense to me why the public is split, yet there's so much money on the Bills. And then same thing on the total. Massive public backing towards the over, and then money on the under. It's very contrarian here. I think that's the point of this game, is being contrarian, because it's not going to be how people expect.
for sure. I'm gonna wait and see if that moves even farther up, and just see. And if it dips down just a tad, I think that's when we jump in on the under officially. But I mean, that total has moved up a bunch. Let's see if we can even get a little bit more before locking it in. Unless you want to lock it in right now. We haven't locked in shit so far this podcast. We're 30 minutes in.
Yeah, screw it. I'll take the under. I took the Bills under last week too, but I'll take it again.
There he is, under 54 for Deej on the Bills and Dolphins. All right, that's fine. I'll ride that with you, but that's your play. It's not mine. I'm gonna wait and see if the number moves a little bit more.
I just think this is going to be so much slower pace than people expect. I mean, the Dolphins scored 70 points with 200 rushing yards. They ran the ball so much, and yes, I mean Patrick Surtain looked terrible. He was the only person that could do anything against Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. So I think Jalen, without. I just expect AFC East. I expect it to be so much more gritty than people expect. This is like the premier Rick bet the under just because people think it's going to go over.
Yeah, shout out to Rick. This would be highly endorsed by him. And I mean, I'll just double down. The Broncos blow. Let's go on to the next game.
All right, moving into my favorite team, Commanders versus Eagles. Eagles are 8.5-point favorites at home against Washington. They have 83% of the bets, while the Commanders have 48% of the money, which it pains me to say, I think that's the right side here. Commanders +9, only because of how well the Commanders played us last year. I think people are going to overlook that. The Commanders were the only team that really beat us last year, despite it being a little bit of a stupid ending. But they were one of the few teams that beat Jalen Hurts last year. So I think they have an idea of what it takes to beat this team. And 83% of the bets and a massive sharp differential towards the Commanders is a great sign to be like, hey, that's the sign you should take. I don't think the Eagles lose here, so I don't hate putting them in a teaser, but I think the Commanders find a way to cover.
That is my second leg of my teaser for my early bets. Is the Eagles. I tweeted out on Monday too when you could get them from -7 to -1, but by the time that I wrote the article, they were at -8.5. Looks like they're at 9.5 in some spots. You can still get them at 8.5 depending on where you're betting. But I absolutely love the Eagles to win here. I think they at least win by a field goal. That would be crazy if they couldn't even pull it. If they only beat the Commanders by 1 or 2 points, we've got a problem. This Commanders team is really bad, but I think this does have some division rivalry randomness written all over it, where I'm not comfortable taking the Eagles with that many points despite them being at home. And we'll see what happens. Obviously, the Sharps agree. Like you said, a 31% edge means it's probably going to fit into the golden rule here by the time that the game actually kicks off. But something to monitor for sure. I'm not going to be taking the Commanders in middle myself, but I do feel really confident in the Eagles to at least be able to cover a teaser spread by at least a field goal.
This is one thing we did last week, or I did last week, when I saw I think it was pretty much the same numbers. 65% of the bets on the over, 79% of the money on the under. I might just rip another under. 43.5. I mean, just give it to me.
Lock it in?
Yeah, lock it in. The Eagles defense looks really, really good. I mean, they're holding good offenses to very little points. I think this is another gritty NFC East game that the Eagles probably come out and win like 22-12 or something.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I'm happy with what I got for my Eagles play, but I'll ride with you on the under. Why not?
It looks like I mean, are we going to get any sharp differentials toward the over in this session here? Okay, there is one. I see one. We'll get to that eventually. All right. Next one, another divisional matchup. Bucks at Saints. Bucks go in +3.5 dogs into New Orleans. 74% of the bets, 86% of the money. Andy, you hate the Bucks, but yet there's a 12% sharp differential towards the Bucks. How do you feel about that?
I don't hate the Bucks. I gave them a bad rep. I don't necessarily hate Baker either. I think that he's not very good. I think that he is proving, though, that when you have that many weapons and a lot of supporting cast around you, it's going to help. this is by far the best receiving core he's had because all the receivers last year were injured on his brief stint with the Rams, and he didn't have a ton of great receivers with Carolina either. I mean, DJ Moore obviously stud, but that was really it. I think that this is by far the best offense he's been a part of, and we're seeing the benefits of that. Derek Carr's not playing this game, correct?
Let's verify. Sprained AC joint is week to week, so he's probably not playing next week.
Yeah, week to week is just a trigger word for me from fantasy basketball, but that's neither here or there. When you own Anthony Davis one time, it's a trigger word for sure. I don't mind, even though everyone their mother's on the Bucks. Are we doing this? And am I about to take Bucks money line?
Are you going to take the Bucks? I mean, the Saints defense is so good, and we saw what the Bucks did against a really good Eagles defense.
Give me 2 seconds. Okay, is the Saints defense actually good though? Is my question. Like, yes, I know you highlighted like the names and stuff on the actual defense in your preview for them, but they've played the Titans, the Panthers, and the Packers. They beat the Titans by 1. They beat the Panthers by 3 and lost the Packers by 1. And now they play a division rival in the Bucks. And I don't see this happening again. Where there's no way this team's going to be able to keep a game that close. Fuck the money line. Fuck the money line. Give me Buccaneers. God, I cannot believe I'm doing this. Give me Buccaneers plus 3.5 official. I love it. I actually really love it. With how tight these games have been for the Saints, I don't think that the Saints have the offensive power now that they're going to either have Jameis or Taysom Hill running the offense. The Buccaneers have a actually competent and complete offense. It's not the best because Baker's at quarterback, but there are some things going on there that make sense where I feel really comfortable with them covering 3.5, considering that every single game that the Saints have played, if you were to take the other team plus 3.5, theoretically it would have covered because they have only won games by 1, lost a game by 1, and won another game by 3. I think both these teams suck. The total says it. It's 39.5. AFC South and NFC South are both absolute shit this year. So let's go with the points for a division game. Buccaneers plus 3.5.
I love how you slipped in there that the AFC South was bad this year. When was the last time they were good? When Peyton Manning was the quarterback of the Colts?
Was Andrew Luck still with us when Deshaun Watson was good? I kind of have just blacked out the last 5 or 6 years.
5 years. That's all Frank Reich. That's not even Andrew Luck.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Frank Reich's been doing really well in Carolina, too. God, it breaks my heart, man. I really like Frank Reich, too, and he hasn't been doing so hot. A lot of season left.
Okay. I mean, CJ Stroud looks like he's going to save that division.
Yeah. Buccaneers plus 3.5, 1 unit for me. Official. I said I wasn't going to do it. I was going to do a lot of leans, but I got to lock something in.
It's Andy's cue to move on. Vikings at Panthers, another NFC South versus NFC North. We got Vikings -4, 65% of the bets, 64% of the money. No one wants to bet this game. Are the Vikings really going to go out and go 0-4? No matter who they're playing. Like, did you see? I don't know if this was real, but did you see what Justin Jefferson put on his Instagram?
What did he say? Is he already causing a stir? Is he going to force his way out just like so many great Vikings receivers have?
He said our defense fucking sucks.
No, wait, no. What is that, dude?
I saw it in a few areas.
Today, man.
I didn't verify it, but I saw it in a few areas. I don't know if it was real.
I mean, between the Chandler Jones thing, which Jesus, man, I hope he is okay. Yeah. And then Justin Jefferson tweeting out our defense fucking sucks. He's not wrong. Chandler Jones is wrong, at least I hope. But I mean, there's a reason that Monday morning I tweeted out Vikings -2.5 because I knew this was going to get bet up. And you were actually the first one that called that one out to me. So hat tip to you. I've already got Vikings to win by a field goal or more. So I feel really good about that because This 4.5 number is just so weird in NFL. You and I know it. We've been betting NFL for a while now. It's a weird number. And it's also odd that it's very, very perfect right now that there's really no sharp differential. It's 64 to 36, where everyone's kind of betting on the Vikings. I agree with you, though. I don't think the Vikings are going to go 0-4. I think if the Vikings go 0-4, are we going to talk about Kirk Cousins getting traded to the Jets, maybe?
I don't know what's going on in Minnesota. I don't think he actually said that. I think he tweeted out something else and then someone overlaid that. But I think people are still freaking out about what he Instagrammed. It looks like he posted a quote that said, "Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory." So I don't know what that means, but
yeah, what the hell does that mean? Dude,
people
what the hell does that
mean,
Justin Jefferson? It's like the Kobe and Kanye video where Kanye's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Kobe Bryant?"
That's a phenomenal commercial.
It's not a real commercial. It's a YouTube video.
Oh, it's just a YouTube
real
video?
Commercial. Well, he goes, "What the fuck are you talking about, Kobe Bryant?" I don't think that's commercial.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's so funny.
That's why Select Airways lets you drop an F-bomb in an advertisement.
Oh my God. We're getting off the rails. I feel like I have to bet Vikings. I don't care that I'm not touching this game. Probably. I can't. I don't know how to read the Panthers. Andy Dalton. Is Bryce Young going to be back? I'm not sure. This is a toss up. No sharp differential indicates no one wants to bet on this game.
Should have hopped in with me early. 2.5 feels so nice right now.
Yeah, 2.5.
I'm so happy that I have 2.5. This is like one of the first good CLVs I've done, and I've been doing early best bets now 4 weeks in a row.
Hey,
it feels nice to be right once.
Just got to see one go through the hoop.
Yeah, and then the Panthers are gonna lose by 2, and I'm gonna scream.
We'll see what happens. I think you'll be fine. I don't see them losing. I don't care who it's against. All right, Rams Colts. Rams plus 1.5 going into Indy. 76% of the bets on LA. 81% of the money on LA. God. I like the Colts, honestly. Like, this is a tough one. The Colts have looked really good. I guess it's dependent on if AR is going to play. If AR plays, I love the Colts here as home dogs, if you can get them that.
I believe Richardson's good to go. He's at least been practicing, even though him and Kelly both are not fully cleared for concussion protocol, but they've been full go at practice. So which tells me they should be good to go. I can't pick this game. I can't.
There's no sharp differential on the total either. Like, we're getting into some weeds here where people are just like, what are these games? I mean, the Rams just came off that loss to the Bengals, and the Colts come off a win. So it's like you're backing. It's crazy to me to see 76% of the bets on the Rams after they just lost to the Bengals, but the Colts had a surprise win. So
I think people are still drinking the Rams blowing out the Seahawks in Week 1 Kool-Aid. Don't you think? Like a little bit here.
I think the Rams are good.
I think they're good too, but I don't know how good is my issue. And I also don't know how good the Colts are either. Like we have to be one of the most fraudulent 2-1 teams, surely. We lead the AFC South right now. The
Commanders are 2-1, Andrew. The Commanders are 2-1.
Well, yeah, we knew there were a few fraudulent 2-0 teams going into Week 3 last week. The Colts leading the AFC South through 3 weeks is not on my bingo card. I don't know if you had it on yours. I can't do anything here, DJ. As a fan and as a sports bettor, it's not smart for me to bet it as a sports bettor because there's too many unknowns on both sides. It's not smart for me to bet it as a fan either because I'm not going to bet against my team, and I would feel like a dumbass when we get rocked by the Rams and I have money on my own guys.
Yeah, this might be like one where it's like too sharp to take the Colts. Like you're just trying to be like outplaying them, and then the Rams are just simply that much better because they have Super Bowl winners on their team while we're hoping that Anthony Richardson out of the University of Florida can will the Colts to a win.
Yeah, I got nothing more on this one. My thought, I think if I keep speaking, I'll go on a tangent about this game. We don't need that.
Fair enough. Moving on, Steelers minus 2.5 going into Houston. 44% of the bets on the Steelers, but 65% of the money, giving the Texans a 9% sharp differential. I love both these teams, like just taking them straight up, and I ended up not taking the Texans last week, and I'm kicking myself because of it. And I told you, Andrew, I was like, the only reason I'm not taking the Texans is because they've hurt me in the first 2 weeks. Yet you said don't let that affect it, and I did, and I didn't take them, and they won outright. So now I'm at a loss. Now I don't know what to do.
I want to go Steelers so bad. I want to go Steelers so bad. -2.5.
I think their defense is going to rock the Texans' offensive line.
I agree. And the Texans have not really played anybody yet. People are overreacting about the Jaguars win. And as I touched on when we were previewing the London game, the Jaguars have underperformed where our expectations were. So we should not place a lot of value into them blowing out this Jaguars team. We don't necessarily know how good the Jags are yet. The Steelers, however, have kept so many. I mean, is this Steelers' fourth game in a row that they've had a 2.5-point spread where they've been dogs in favor on it? Seriously.
Yeah, you're right. It's always that way.
This is the fourth game and it's been like this. I lean Steelers. I'm not ready to lock it in yet, though. But
I'm with you.
Lean Steelers.
I'm with you. I like the Steelers despite the sharp differential towards the Texans. The early public is on the Texans, but I'm with you. I like the Steelers. What I also like is, interestingly enough, this is one of the few games that we actually see a sharp differential towards the over, with 68% of the bets and 77% of the money towards the over. I'm not sure I understand that genuinely. I mean, the Texans offense does look really good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like the Steelers are just because who'd they play last week? They lost.
I'm logging my bet into bet stamp right now. Hang on.
Did they just lose to the Raiders? Or they beat the Raiders?
No, yeah, they beat the Raiders. And they beat the Browns the week before.
Yeah. The Steelers are coming off of wins against the Raiders and the Browns, yet I don't know. They think the Texans offense is going to be able to put up 20 plus points. I don't get that. I'm going to look towards that changing come Sunday. I think a lot of sharp bettors are probably going to bet the other way. Maybe they're just letting this number get higher and higher as public money comes into the over. I don't understand that one quite yet, but we'll keep an eye on that as we get closer to Sunday.
Yeah,
I'll pause here.
Like I said, lean Steelers. I agree with what you said. I think this defense is going to be solid. I think that the offense is continuing to figure each other out. It is going to be close. The spread is right to be a smaller one, but I'm fine with Steelers -2.5 as my lean.
We have another week, Andy, where we only have 3 4 o'clock games. How do you feel about that?
It's criminal. But they have to, right? Because we have a London game, so you can't have 4.
True. Yeah, and
you can't have 4 games at a time. But I mean, we have bye weeks next week, so what are they going to
do? Hopefully not keep putting 2 games on Monday, but I think we're done with that.
We're finally through that. Yeah, we're finally through that.
Into the 4 o'clock games, we've got Raiders +5.5 going into LA against Justin Herbert. 74% of the bets on the Chargers and 60% of the money on the Raiders. I want to back the Raiders so hard, and I'm inches away from taking it right now. But the Raiders offense, the Raiders offense just looks so one-dimensional. It doesn't look like they can do anything but get Devontae Adams the ball. We thought that the Raiders offense was going to be really strong against the not-so-great Steelers run defense, and Josh Jacobs only had 62 yards, right? Like, there's something off about this offense, but I think there's going to be a way. Like, I think there's going to be a point where it clicks, and the Chargers defense is probably the best place to do so, because the only reason the Chargers are winning games is because Justin Herbert is finding Keenan Allen 20 plus times for 200 yards. Like, they're not turning the ball over a lot on offense. They're playing really good on offense. They're driving down well, not converting as much as they could be. But the only reason they're 1-2 is the Chargers defense. So, like, the Raiders have a chance here with such a bad defense, and obviously the sharp differential shows that.
I actually lean the other way. I lean Chargers solely based on the nature of where the Raiders are at right now from a locker room standpoint. You have the whole Chandler Jones debacle that went down today. You also have Devontae Adams talking about how piss poor the team has been. And people are already starting the rumors of where they're going to trade him. That would be so wild for him to be traded only after a year and a half with the team. I mean, less than a year and a half, rather.
I think he just wants to win, but I understand the conversations about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise on both sides of the ball. People are doubting Josh McDaniels, and rightfully so. The guy sucks, and he's also
the man's an idiot.
Also very soft. Yeah, he's an idiot. He's bitch made. But the Chargers have so much public money on them, and the Raiders have so much of the actual money on them, and the spread hasn't moved one way or the other, which makes you think that Vegas is happy with one side or the other so far. So that's why I'm only confident to lean. I want to just see where these things pan out, and this will probably have to be a 3:30 to 4 o'clock Eastern call on Sunday. Remember, this is a 4:05 game. The next ones are 4:25. So just keep in mind, set 2 alarms if you're going to wait until game time. I have to, because there's been so many times I'm watching the 1 o'clock slate, and all of a sudden Scott Hansen's like, and the Raiders and Chargers have kicked off, and I'm like, fuck, I wanted to place a bet on that game.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind, guys. There is only one 4:05 game and 2 4:25 games. I think the 4:25 games have a lot more fun angles to bet on the 4:05. If you want to go ahead and get into them, unless you got any more thoughts on this one.
My only other thought that I wanted to talk about it, because I had to talk about it with myself on the right recap episode. But what the fuck was Josh McDaniels doing when he kicked the field goal from the 8 on 4th and 4?
That's just stress. It's just stress and pressure just breaking you down. Is what I don't know.
Everyone in that building, everyone watching that game was like, okay, go for it. You're down 8. Go for the fucking touchdown. And he kicks the field goal.
Yeah.
They didn't touch the ball again. Oh, it pisses me off.
He's so bad, man. He's so bad.
They need to fire him. But I mean,
hey, Colts dodged a bullet, even though our team was not great the 5 years that Frank Reich took our coaching job instead of Josh McDaniels.
Dodged a bullet.
Yeah, we dodged a bullet. He's awful. He's so bad, man.
Yeah, he's an idiot. I will. Yeah. Terrible coach. Good offensive coordinator. Terrible coach. Anyway,
it's his last time getting a head coaching job for sure.
Yeah, totally.
God willing.
Cardinals plus 14 going into Santa Clara. God bless their souls. 50% of the bets, 67% of the money to the Niners. 17% sharp differential. Despite it being 14 points, I kind of like the Niners.
Oh, dude, I was about to ask you if you wanted to sweat this one out with me. Damn it.
You should tease it, Andy. You should tease it. Tease it. No, plus 20.
It's not a part of my protocol. Not a part of my protocol. That's not in my book. I'm going to sit and wait. Let's see if it goes to 13.5 or 14.5, whatever. I'm going to sit and wait on this one. If it goes to 14.5, I mean, my Lord. This team.
I mean, the Cardinals have looked good, and I think that's what Vegas is kind of backing on, hoping that people put the Cardinals 14 points. They just beat the Cowboys. The 49ers are that much better than the Cowboys. I don't expect them to come out here and play games with this team. They might hold them to 3 points, which is why I like the 14. You're getting the Niners off a nice win. Who'd they just play? I'm blanking. They just play the Giants on Thursday. Is that the Thursday night game? Yeah, you get them on. You got them on a 10-day. Yeah, you get them on a 10-day. This is I love the Niners here. I wouldn't take it right now. I'm still curious to see where the extra bets come in and if that line moves. Vegas is probably going to be happy at that 14. Honestly, this is one of the other games with a massive sharp differential towards the over, which I don't get at all. I'm upset to say that I don't see any value towards these overs where there's sharp differential toward the over, because the Niners have a phenomenal defense. And yes, Josh Dobbs looks fine, but in order for them to hit this total, I guess they're expecting the Niners to score 35 and then the Cardinals score 10. I don't know, which is possible.
I leave the under here. I just think that it's with all that time to prep for the Niners, paired with a division game where they do know the Cardinals very well, despite not knowing Josh Dobbs super well. I trust that they're going to be able to wrangle this thing in for what's been a interesting 1-2 team for the Cardinals. Very, very interesting ride so far with them, where they've surprised a lot. They've had 2 close losses, and then they really dominated the Cowboys, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I wish I took money line there.
I think 14 is the wrong number. I think if you believe in the under, Cardinals plus 14 is also a safe way to go. But I'll make my decision on which way is the better way to go by Sunday for sure.
Let's look at when the money was 75% or higher on the over last year. How did it do? 22-20. So
negligible.
Yeah, you don't need to be scared of that, which is interesting. But as we talked about it, 2-9. Otherwise, okay. I gotta go back to my tab here. Yeah, I like the under with you too, but we'll see what happens. Patriots, Cowboys, Patriots plus 6.5 in Dallas. 52% of the bets and 71% of the money backing Mac Jones at plus 6.5. 75% of bets and 91% of the money towards the under, which I love. Patriots unders typically do well. I don't know where to think about this Cowboys team. They probably come out here and murder the Patriots at home.
Yep. Like, why are people betting the Pats? Why? What's going on?
They just beat the Jets. It's such an ugly line.
The bet counter must be too low. Something's up here. There's I'm not putting too much stock into these splits on this game specifically. Something's wrong. Surely, right? Maybe.
I don't know. I think a lot of it is probably. This is a weird week because I haven't had as much time as I want to dig into these numbers and start tracking things. But it opened at 4.5. I expect a lot of that money was at 4.5. Now you're getting 6.5. Vegas is adjusted, and you're slowly going to start to get more bets and money on the Cowboys because
so it's moving the wrong way. The spread's with all the money on one side, the spread's moving the wrong way.
Right.
I don't. That's what I don't understand here. It's like,
oh yeah, you're right.
Why is all the money piling on one side at a 7%
reverse live
clip?
movement? Yeah.
The Patriots have gained 2 points on their spread.
Yeah, I think Vegas probably loves this.
I think I'm going to go Cowboys. Yeah. I think I'm going to go Cowboys. And if I don't go Cowboys spread, I'm going to find a way to tease them because you can get them to basically money line at half a point where it is right now.
Yeah. We're gonna run my own Sharpen the Public teaser here. Lock me in for the Cowboys as half of that.
Okay.
Get them down to a pick 'em. I'm going back through the slate. What do I want?
Holy shit, this is official. I'm writing it down.
I don't know what I want.
You don't want any other games in your teaser, so pick your poison with the rest.
These are ugly.
They're the Eagles. Well, it depends where you get the Eagles at.
No, I might take the Eagles straight up or the Commanders or something. I don't know.
Colts +1 to +7.
This is ugly.
I know, dude. It's tough to tease this week.
I might take Dolphins +9, just assuming it's going to be close.
Yeah, if you already like the under, then doubling down and thinking that it's going to be not going to be a blowout.
I don't know. The Bills defense is good.
With a total of 54, it's not the best look to be teasing this.
Throw it with the Titans. Throw it with the Titans. Home dog.
You're doing it.
Give me the Cowboys and the Titans. I actually love it. I actually love it.
How many units? 1.5?
No, 1.
How you gonna sweat out a teaser when you only got a unit on it? All right.
Okay, last couple of games here. Sunday night, we've got Chiefs Jets. I mean, my God, -8.5. Chiefs go into MetLife. 82% of the bets, 63% of the money, 19% sharp differential towards Trevor Siemian and Zach Wilson. I mean, 9 points. Like, oh my God. The Chiefs might go out here and murder them just like they murdered the Bears. But the Jets have a better defense, so maybe it'll be 30-3 instead of 50-3. Like, I understand the sharp side being like late night game. Something crazy could happen. Mahomes might throw a pick. But I don't know, man. The Jets offense is horrible.
Yeah, tonight's Thursday night game was one that went against what the typical trend has been. I believe night games were 9-2 to the under. There were 11 of them so far. Now the over just hit in the Lions game, so 9-3. People seem to have caught on because that open line was definitely from the summer.
It had to be, with Aaron Rodgers.
That open 100%. Line is not real. 41.5 total, and 99% of the money is on the under, with 70% of the bets. Everyone and their mother's doing the under. I don't know if the Jets are going to score a point, but I have nothing here. I'm not going to. Yeah, I don't have a lot to offer here. I think we all know the Chiefs are going to win this one. If this starts to get into that double-digit territory, we do have the stat of Mahomes versus double-digit spreads, which is a very interesting one. Taylor Swift will be in the building in New York City. We're going to have to see her. What I'd be more interested in is betting on a prop of how many times she's on TV, and I'll be betting the over on that. No matter, you can 100%. Name whatever number you want, and I'll be betting the over on that. Just wait for the market to come out, and I'll tweet it out. Not even kidding.
Should I take the Titans out of my teaser and make it the Chiefs? There's no way they lose this game.
No, because you're only crossing one significant number.
No, you're crossing 7-2. Like 7-3. You get -2.5.
Where are you seeing 8.5?
It says best odds on my screen, -8.5.
For what book?
Caesars.
I'll give it to you. Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
Yeah, fuck
oh my god. Oh my god. Do that right now. What are we doing? Yes.
I'm locking it in.
Log it in right now, dude. Oh my god.
I also did a moneyline parlay last week on my personal bets, and I enjoyed it, but the Cowboys fucked me, so I might do another one, but I'll post it in my article.
I just think there, depending on how many legs you add, like when spreads are so large, it's just reckless. One of these, because one of these huge dogs are going to win. It's always
tough. It's not easy. Oh my god, there's the Kelsey theory, specials.
There's always
fucking
3.
FanDuel.
Of course there are. In the NFL, there's always like 3 games where there's just a massive spread, and one of the dogs always wins outright, it feels like. In the UFC, it's a theory of mine for so long that 3 guys in a pay-per-view at the headline it, one of the dogs always wins. Especially if there's 3 big favorites, one of the dogs always wins. I feel the same way about the NFL, where there's, with the huge spreads, one of the dogs always wins outright. So that's why I caution about these moneyline parlays. It just scares the hell out of me. I haven't ripped one this year. I think I maybe had a couple last year, but not too many.
Yeah, they're tough, but they're a little fun though. And I'll either tweet it out or talk about it in my article whenever it happens. But let's finish this slate off. We got Seahawks, Giants Monday night. This is an awful week for night games. I mean, the Lions Packers wasn't terrible, but Seahawks, Giants, and Jets Chiefs is terrible. And then we get to follow it up with Bears Commanders on Thursday. Seahawks -1 going into MetLife as well. 73% of the bets and 59% of the money towards the Giants, giving them a 32% sharp differential. I mean, what in God's name why are people backing the Giants?
You guys can't see it. I'm just shaking my head in silence. This is bad radio. I don't know. I want to go under 47.5. No. Yeah, I do. I'm burnt out of it. If you guys can't tell, I'm burnt out of this slate. I had like 0 to no analysis on these last 3 games. I really don't like this slate a lot.
Yeah, this is way worse than last week. I would agree. But Seahawks Giants 1.5. I mean, I would just take the under, probably like 47 points. The Giants are not putting up over 20 points, and the Seahawks might just run the ball the entire game.
Yeah, maybe we look at some Kenneth Walker props. That might be the play, actually. Kenny Walker.
Yeah, the Giants' run defense sucks. We saw that evidenced by Christian McCaffrey tearing him to shreds. So
he's an anomaly. He's an anomaly.
Kenneth Walker's good too.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker's really good. Kenneth Walker's really good.
I don't know. This has been a weird podcast.
It has been a very weird podcast, a very weird slate.
Falcons, Jaguars,
Skywalker on Monday night. I think that's my play. I don't know what the number's going to be. Do they have anything on Underdog or something? Let's see.
We get to start our Sunday with the Toy Story Jags Falcons. We then get the Broncos fucking Bears. What are the two good? We've got the Ravens Browns as a good game. Dolphins Bills, and that's probably it. The rest of the game.
You guys are making a fantasy lineup this week. Add in Kenneth Walker. On Underdog, he's 62.5 rushing yards. I love that so much. I absolutely love it. And I haven't given reasons why because I'm too tired. This has not been our best work, but it is honest work.
We'll be back again as always. But I mean, I think we're gonna have to call it there. Thank you guys for listening. As always, stay frosty.
The boys bet better with beer, but after a few, it's apparent we actually don't bet better with beer. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.